said leadership is treating everyone differently, but making it seem like you're treating everybody the same, which I thought was a great way to do it, right? It works for me. And if it works for you, then what do I care if it's exactly the same? Laine, I want to come to one of your favorite subjects, diversity and inclusion, because I know they're huge initiatives at Citi. And what role does that play in leadership development? Is that a course that everybody should be taking when it comes to leadership development?
Yeah, so I'll answer that in two ways. Yes, it's a course, right? I mean, we can create awareness, but really, diversity and inclusion needs to be embedded in everything that we do. So it's not a standalone thing that's sort of off on the side, but in fact, it has to be part of our perspective in the way that we do business and the way that we develop leaders. You name it. And if you've heard the common saying that, it's an imperative because we want to, both in terms of how we bring people to the table, we want to look like our customers, we want to have diverse perspectives. So how we include people in the conversation is equally as important. So, I think holistically, being more inclusive, bringing more perspectives into the conversation is critical. And yes, it's something that's very important to us here at Citi and is embedded in not only our leadership development programs, but everything that we do and conversation that we have. Todd, cool. You look like you want to say something.
Well, no, I mean, I would agree. I think the first person I called when I was put in charge of leadership development at Boehringer Ingelheim was Nancy Didier, who's the head of diversity and inclusion at Boehringer globally. And the reason was just to Laine's point. I mean, that's why I think from a research standpoint, if you look at the research of leadership styles and leadership theories, servant and transformational leadership, I believe are the right competencies because they are inclusive in nature, right? They're there to serve people, not to eliminate or exclude people. So the mindset of a servant leader, a transformational leader, is to transform the mindset, which I think is important from a diversity and inclusion standpoint. And I think about authenticity, right? Vulnerability, humility, gratitude. Those virtues I think are important as part of a leadership development program because we know the impact that those things have on people, engagement, and culture. And, coming out of a pandemic with the amount of stress and anxiety that people, and you guys wrote the book on anxiety at work, right? The data around how a servant transformational or a very good leader manages that anxiety and that those issues from a mental health standpoint within the workplaces is profound. I mean, there are some studies that were done in Scandinavia from the Helsinki Institute that showed that they found employees of poor leaders and good leaders over 25 years. They showed that even after they retired, that it was still poor leaders were having a negative effect. There was a 25% increase in ischemic heart disease with people who had poor leaders over their career. Those ones with good leaders didn't have that same correlation. So, bad leaders can hurt you in more ways than one, financially and from a workplace environment standpoint.
So when you say my boss is killing me, I mean, you literally mean my boss
happen, Adrian.
is killing me. Yeah.
Yeah. But just to make a quick tie into what we were talking about before, right? When you think about how do we bring in those diverse perspectives and make DEI in general important in our companies, coaching, right? Because if you're asking questions and you're listening to your people, by default, you're bringing in those perspectives and allowing them to flourish.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
So interesting. Yeah. Diversity and inclusion, again, so that we can reflect our customers, that we can appeal to a broader base, that we can get more people to give us more money. If you want to boil it down to the...
it's a performance imperative.
And be innovative. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a performance imperative.
Partha, any thoughts on the diversity and inclusion and leadership?
Yeah, I think again, tying up to some of the points which were mentioned, today's world, you just have to adapt fast, right? You don't know what's coming in 2 years' time. Okay, we knew AI was there, but it suddenly came in, right? I mean, it like ChatGPT just came in. I mean, everyone knew that AI was coming up, kind of thing, but it just like hit you suddenly. So I think this whole adaptability, once you bring in the diversity, DI thing there, so you get all those different perspectives. perspectives. It makes you more adaptable to different situations.
Yeah.
And I sometimes this coaching is required because we have our own biases. We can't wish away those biases. We have been born and raised in a certain way. I'm almost 50, so you can imagine what was there 20 years back, how I used to think about certain things. I was watching a Dave Chappelle show, and he said that I don't understand you, but I believe you. Okay, I mean, it's a different viewpoint. I mean, I believe you. Okay, I don't understand. I mean, why someone does certain things in a different way, because I haven't had those kind of friends when I was growing up, but I believe you. Okay, that you are doing that. So I think I just added that line because I love that line so much that sometimes there's diverse people you might not understand, but if you're coached, then you will know that, okay, they have their own viewpoints. We have to be adaptable and understanding to their viewpoints. I think it's very much important and required today.